Now into his second decade as Prime Minister, Mahathir had a new agenda for the nation of 18 million people. He was keen to see a first world country emerge under his leadership.
He has now realized that Malaysia is a nation of different races and different cultures, that all the races are cherish and treasure their different languages and cultural heritage, and it's from there that you build up a united nation. So he has gone through the various phases. That's why I think in 1990 he came up with this Vision 2020.
Vision 2020 was, in my view, a further effort, an appeal to Malaysian nationhood, nationalistic and more importantly, a modernist view of the future of Malaysia.
I have lots of ideas. I think it is, if you want to be a leader, you must have ideas. You see, otherwise you'll be like any of your followers.
Mahathir coined the catchphrase, "Malaysia can," and urged Malaysians to aim higher than before. In 1997, Mahathir's administration sponsored an expedition to climb Everest, the world's highest mountain. And on the 23rd of May, two Malaysians, Magendran and Mohanadas, declared Malaysia could. The Malaysia can spirit was contagious, even in building projects like the Kuala Lumpur International Airport and the Sepang International Circuit. But Mahathir's crowning achievement had to be Putrajaya, a new administrative centre 25 kilometres south of the capital city, Kuala Lumpur.
I think Putrajaya is something that I feel proud of, because we built this town, this city, on a greenfield site. And today you see that it has really become a real city, very impressive. Lots of people full of praise, and many countries have come to learn from us how to build a new capital.
Elsewhere in the country, change was happening. Infrastructure brought immediate benefits to Malaysians. In Kuala Lumpur, Mahathir tackled the city's annual flood problems using smart engineering. He approved the world's first stormwater and road tunnel to be built 20 meters underneath the city. Before rivers overflowed their banks, the motorway tunnel would be converted into a giant water channel. After clearing traffic, the stormwater gates would open. The lower and upper road decks would be flooded, diverting water beneath and away from Kuala Lumpur and putting it out of danger.
My dad has a great capacity for looking at all this new technology and seeing their application way before everyone else.
Tallest, the longest, the biggest structures here and there. And in that sense, it gives Malaysians a sense that of achievement, whether right or necessary.
While modernising Malaysia, Mahathir was also gaining notoriety on the international stage.
I have always talked very openly about my feelings regarding the Commonwealth, the rule of the British, and the role of the Western countries, except that I expressed this only among close friends. But when I became Prime Minister, I felt that these feelings should be expressed as loudly as possible. And of course, then people say I'm very combative.
Politics is a different matter. It requires a different persona and a different performance, and he's able to deliver that. And quite often, that requires him to be very outspoken and somewhat nasty.
But if you say anything at all against the Jews, then you are accused of being anti-Semitic. Are we not allowed at all to criticize the Jews if they do things which are wrong?
Mahathir found a natural ally in another outspoken leader.
Among the leaders I most admired is Nelson Mandela, because when he was released from jail, I was expecting a man who was either very bitter or very broken down. But I find no such thing. He was not angry with those who jailed him, and he was very positive about the future of his country. So this is a great leader.
He liked people who appreciated him, who showed him some respect, and the leaders of many third world countries admired him for standing up to, particularly to the United States.
Mahathir didn't think very highly of US President George W. Bush.
I find him lacking in knowledge about the rest of the world. He has no idea about countries in Asia, for example. He is very simplistic in his view, that all you have to do is to bash people up so that they will then not be a problem for the United States. So I didn't quite like his attitude.
Margaret Thatcher, the British Prime Minister, was an exception. They had a lot in common, they hit it off, and they became very, very close friends.
It was different with Australia, though. In 1993, Prime Minister Paul Keating's description of Mahathir turned into a diplomatic disaster. Keating had called Mahathir a recalcitrant.
When he commented about my not attending the first APEC meeting in Seattle, he said that I was a recalcitrant. Actually, I didn't feel much offended, but people in Malaysia felt that this was uncalled for, and many people were angry, and I had to show that I felt the same way about it. But to me, being called a recalcitrant is nothing. You see, because I've never been, I have always been the subject of all kinds of criticism by others.
Paul Keating eventually apologized to Mahathir. In 1997, Asia was thrust into an economic crisis. While Korea, Indonesia and Thailand accepted loans from the International Monetary Fund, Malaysia did not. 72-year-old Mahathir felt his team could resolve the economic crisis themselves.
One of the training of a doctor is to listen. You have to listen to your patient. You cannot interrupt him and prevent him from telling his story his way. You see, so I learned how to be a good listener and to be patient, to learn about other people's problems, to analyze them, and to try and find a solution for them.
For Dr. Mahathir, his diagnosis was simple. He identified American currency trader George Soros as the most likely cause of the crisis. Mahathir prescribed a course of currency controls, including pegging Malaysia's ringgit to the US dollar. This effectively fixed the ringgit's value to a more stable currency.
If we peg, then the traders cannot play around with currency, so they cannot make any money. That's why we decided that we must not only stop the trading in currency, but we fix the exchange rate, and we fix it so that we are competitive against our neighbors.
Introduction of capital controls did not cause the calamity which the IMF and others claimed that it would cause. And in fact, in many other ways, I think Dr. Mahathir has been clearly vindicated by recent developments.
As soon as one crisis ended, another began. One that would forever haunt Mahathir's legacy. On the very day Mahathir pegged the ringgit to the US dollar, Deputy Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim was sacked. The city turned chaotic. A reform movement gathered speed, calling for Mahathir's resignation.
He, at a time, felt he was greatly